But coming in before Sheena Yengar is somebody that I met last night. So Ariel is somebody who met Warren and Bill Gates over the table tennis table. And she since studied at Princeton University, and she now works in AI. And I asked her last night, Ariel, if she'd tell us some stories about what it's like to play table tennis with Warren and Bill, and she said yes. So here we are, and it's great to have you here.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Ariel Hsing, and I'm very honored to be here today. Thank you for having me. As Guy mentioned, I was a wild card audition from last night, so I don't have any, fancy slides, but I wanted to just take a moment to kind of speak from the heart and just share some of the experiences that I've had, meeting Warren and Bill at such a young age, and also the things that they've taught me, over the years. So for a bit of background, I used to be a professional table tennis player. I was the youngest ever U.S. national champion and 3 times U.S. national champion, and I was also fortunate enough to have represented the U.S. in the 2012 Olympics in London. And it's actually through table tennis that I met Warren and Bill. I was 9 years old at the time, and it was, I call him Uncle Warren, Uncle Warren's 75th birthday party, and some of his friends and family wanted to give him a gift, which was a table tennis lesson from a local coach. And so that coach thought it would be really funny if, a little girl also came along and played ping pong with them. And so that coach, Bill Louie, gave my parents a call and said, hey, does Ariel want to play ping pong with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates? And my parents thought that he had lost his mind, or it was a joke, but they said, yeah, sure, why not? And I'm glad they said that because it ended up not being a joke, and I was fortunate enough to get to play with them when I was 9. And obviously at the time, my parents knew who both of them were, but me being 9, I did not. And so when I showed up to play ping pong with them for the first time, I kind of treated it as any other table tennis event or training, which meant that I was really trying to win. I was really trying my best to win, and my parents on the side, they were, saying to me, hey, don't get frustrated, be nice, play nice, but they were very good. They gave me a run for their money. I would say Uncle Bill has a really mean serve, and Uncle Warren, he's a chopper style with, very sporadic, very aggressive attacks. And so it was, very, very surprising. The ball goes really fast by your head. It just, he's very strong. And so I think I had a leg up when it came to table tennis experience. I had played for 2 years at that point, but they definitely had a leg up when it came to life experience. But it was just an incredible opportunity to meet them, and ever since then, I've been coming back to the Berkshire Hathaway meeting almost every year. I started playing, at Borsheim's on Sunday with Uncle Warren, Uncle Bill, and the various shareholders. So maybe you've seen some pics of really large rackets that Uncle Warren was holding. So that was with me. But yeah, just very, very fortunate since, and I've been coming to the Berkshire Hathaway meeting now for, I want to say, over 15 times, so more than half my life at this point. And I just feel so incredibly thankful and honored that I've been able to meet such incredible people at such a young age, and it's really shaped who I am today. And so I wanted to share just a couple of the lessons that I've learned throughout the years, whether directly from them or just through osmosis, getting to see who they are, because I think they really helped me when I was playing ping pong, and also even now, in my career. So I think lesson number 1 that I learned from them is really to be humble, and I learned that from them the very first time I met them when I was 9, and both Uncle Warren and Uncle Bill were so incredibly humble. They showed up to the ping pong venue in the same exact minivan that my parents drove. The only difference was that they had a driver, but otherwise very, very low key and just so humble. I didn't fully understand who they were at the time, but they just came across as any other kind of uncle or auntie. In Chinese culture, we call kind of our elders that, and so I just started calling them Uncle Warren and Uncle Bill because they were just so down to earth and just felt like my uncle from next door. And so I've taken kind of the be humble approach when it came to table tennis, because you should never underestimate your opponent. I learned that with Uncle Warren's smash and everything, but never underestimate your opponent. And when it comes to kind of now in my career, I always try to be humble. I think an event like this is so incredible because you get to meet folks from all different walks of life, folks who have succeeded in different elements of their life. And so I definitely take that approach with me, and I think that's definitely a perspective that I want to continue taking with me until I turn 93 too. The second thing is that I learned from them was really find what it is that you're passionate about, so you can turn that into what you do full time and it doesn't feel like a job anymore. And I definitely felt like that when I was playing table tennis. Table tennis never felt like a job or a chore to me because I absolutely genuinely loved playing. And even now with my career, when I graduated from Princeton, I first joined McKinsey, and it was to figure out what it was that I was really passionate about. And from there, I ended up joining an AI startup, and I've been so thankful ever since because it's something that I'm so passionate about, so it doesn't feel like a job anymore. And I think that's a really important lesson, especially for maybe some of the younger crowd, because I think it's really easy to get caught in the rat race of what you think other people want you to do or what you think you should do. But I think it's really important to kind of keep that as your North Star, which is to really focus on what it is that you're passionate about, because then it won't feel like a job anymore. The third lesson that I learned from them is that you really need to spend time to excel in something that you do. And so for table tennis, I played for over 10 years. I was training 3-4 hours a day, 6 hours on the weekends. And even now, when it comes to work, I try to actively participate and think through what are the things that I could do better or improve upon. I think another thing I learned from them too was just really around self-awareness and willingness to admit when you're wrong or when you've made mistakes and really self-reflect. And so I think that's something that I did when I played ping pong. After every match, after every practice, thinking through what are the ways that you can improve or do better. Even when it's a match that you won, by the way, I think you can learn a lot from that in terms of how you can continue to improve, because there's always a next step, a next level that you can get to. And now at work as well, from something as tactical as hey, how could I have had this conversation or this meeting better, to how could I have driven to this big strategic decision faster. And so I think those are just a few of the lessons that I've been fortunate enough to learn from them, but it's really shaped who I am ever since I was a little girl. So I feel incredibly thankful and lucky to have learned these lessons, and very thankful to be able to share them with you as well.
I'll take 3 people at the mics, but my first question, and thank you so much for agreeing to do this at short notice, is so you meet somebody like that, and then there's a kind of, well, I don't know, you're a world-class table tennis player, but there's a kind of a moment where you say, well, I'm just a schmuck. And you nodded, so you clearly have had those moments. So while 2 or 3 people gather at the mics, if you want to ask a question, tell us about that, if you can.
Yeah, there's definitely days I feel like a schmuck, and I think that everyone probably feels like that at some point. I think when it comes down to moments like that, I think it's a combination of being humble, but also being kind of proud of who you are. I remember when I was playing table tennis, actually right before the Olympic trials, I was going through this period of playing so horribly. I feel like I regressed by 2 years, and I think it was just the pressure of the trials coming up. And at the time, my mom gave me advice. She was saying, when everyone tells you that you're the best, you have to keep humble. You have to kind of keep your head on straight, which is also a lesson I learned from Uncle Warren. But there's also moments where, people are telling you that you're a schmuck. You're doing really, really poorly. And it's moments like that that you have to have confidence in yourself. And you have to just, know who you are and push through.
I'm wondering if there's a book titled What I Learned About Investing Through Playing Table Tennis with Warren Buffett. Thank you so much, Ariel. It's such a pleasure to have you here, and talk to her over the weekend.